That a Friday we have incorporated a writing class for them, and so we actually have the library over here has at the church they have a huge library with books, and ladies come over and check out books every week, check out DVDs that they can they can watch, and then I try to incorporate some type of writing project on the things that they read from the library, just as on a weekly basis, just to get them some of the fundamentals sometimes of writing can be a challenge, and so helping them to learn and to grow from the things like that is
and then weekends usually look like?
The weekends are open, but we usually try to have a volunteer to come in if they want to, I think this weekend they went to the Apple Orchard, someone take them there after church.
Something social, something?
Yeah, we've had someone take them to the theater a couple of times.
So the left mouse. Wonderful. We are doing our part 2 of our City Hill interview, House of Hope. And so he and Tracy, for one, I want to encourage you to check that out, as that gave an overall description. I use the summary of this program having 3 significant aspects, and of safe, affordable housing, having a life skill program, and thirdly, the significant of having role models that are living in proximity, in this case living right with, but you really have a whole congregation of role models that are connected with these women that they didn't have. You have key individuals that are living in the house, and Tracy, you have infinite contact with them, every week. But then as they participate in the church life, but then also as there's opportunity for your congregation members to give rides or help an apple orchard. I know a lot of pastors, a lot of church people know about either the poverty or issues like sex, and they're like, how can we get our people to volunteer significantly? I hear pastors thinking that this is like an ideal situation because you don't have to drive down to the city, so to speak. If you have a congregational member that's like, oh, this is a passion of mine, you can say, well, hey, we have some great opportunities just right here. In your case, literally in your own backyard.
Literally.
So let me ask just a little bit of that dynamic, of just that aspect of your. Now I'm assuming that breaking free yourself had came in and did a little bit of like education, because you're talking about individuals that have, in a sense, from a very different culture.
Sure.
And you're bringing them to live in suburbia America, with like a typical suburban congregation. Right there, I'm assuming there's already been stories of kind of
some issues.
Some issues.
I think well, we did education and training for anyone who volunteers directly with the women. So we've done more of an extensive training and awareness of here's what these women are going through, here's some do's, here's some don'ts. So there's that basic level training for anyone that volunteers there, not necessarily for everyone church-wide that they might interact with on a weekend. So I think one of the biggest things that, and you can pipe in or add your perspective, that we've encountered is just getting through the trust issues, the trust barriers initially, because the women that have moved in, some of their initial responses have been, well, this is awesome, but what's the catch? Why are you doing such a great thing? What do you want from me?
The biggest misnomer is that people assume a lot of times that because you live in suburbia or suburban, that you don't have issues, or that you don't have have pain, that you don't know pain. And so I think a lot of our volunteers, me for certain, know that when you've gone through something and you've seen how God can heal you from it, then it's just automatic that you want to do that, and be a blessing to someone else. And so for me personally, that's why I volunteer, is because I know the goodness of God, and I've seen how He works in my life and a lot of other people's lives, and so I can't not do it. And I think that's the heart of most women that we have helping there too, is that
those trust issues, I think get overplayed. And when you're working with individuals, we're from Minnesota, and we've been leaders internationally in treatment centers with Hazelton, and that's one of the things that Minneapolis is known for. And one of my frustrations is when people think of individuals who have been victimized, and the reality that the average age of entry is 13. And so whatever the age currently, whether a woman is 18 or 35 or 45, what she has lived with. Part of the mentality is, well, let's figure out how to institutionalize people in treatment centers. Just give them training and skills and treat it just like it's solely an addiction.
Right.
And part of that whole model is, well, then after someone understands and maybe detoxes from the addiction and is more stable, they can go live back in their normal culture, you know, that is safe and supportive and encouraging. And the reality is that almost all women coming out of sex trafficking and prostitution, they don't have that. And the level of victimization, you just hit on it, the trust issues. And you know what? That, and I'm sure you've already seen this, that might happen a few days for some, but some might happen a few months.
Oh, right, for sure. Right.
And so this situation here, to me, allows women to move at their own pace, which is amazing and just so important.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's like Christine said. It's sometimes they're like, really, you want to help me? Just just cause, just cause we love God, we love you, and to say that to them sometimes, I don't know that they've heard that, but I love those women that are there. And so it's just awesome for me to be a part of it, and I'm just so appreciative. My husband and I have been here for a year with this church, and so the fact that the church came and had this connection with Breaking Free and started this was just like...
Sounds like God was doing something.
Awesome.
It was bringing them to us.
It was just...
For a reason.
It was awesome. So it's a blessing for me and the volunteers as much as it is for the women.
Oh, for sure.
So we try to, help them recognize that, so that that they can trust us, because we truly want to help them. We truly do.
But like you said, it is a process too, and it's different with each of the women. It has been a different journey in getting to that place, and I think we started 3 months ago. We've had 5 different women come through the house, 3 now, and just realizing that there are going to be some women that we can't help like we want to. And so I think that's a hard reality sometimes, because we want to see everyone free, and we want to see them alive in Jesus and moving forward. But it really is God that moves, and we can only do so much.
And some people might not be a fit. In our experience with transitional homes, there's been some people that have been there for a few weeks or a few months and then ended up leaving, whatever reason. I look at those as they still got ministered to while they were there.
Still touch them in some way.
And they were, whether they jumped back into the old lifestyle or whether it was just too much for them. We have a couple of young men who've been in our house 4 different stays. And people, you can look at that like, well, I guess they weren't very successful. Well, I see that as really a success, because they wanted to come back.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there's a real power in that. And I think the reality of reaching out to the marginalized, the victimized, is like you can't expect that they're going to be at a place where they can completely, the stories that they come out of.
Oh, it's amazing. Yeah, it's very amazing. But I think in the 3 areas that you mentioned earlier, the housing and a bed, we've been able to provide. And the way that it works, too, is that Breaking Free has been able to provide a lot of the life skills training and specific recovery groups specific for these women. So it's not that a church has to be specialized in every area to help somebody. If you can provide a bed, if you can be there to provide a role model and just to love them. It's really about loving them and being real and being yourself, because these women can see through any facade. And they know if you're in it because you really care or not. But we don't have to be the experts in the field to reach out and love them. Now
there's an aspect of this too, of you could analyze the American church and talk about how the American church has set up to remove themselves from the poor. Maybe send money at best, but not have a lot of significant contact. Not see the poor weekly in their services.